Welcome back to the main kitchen. Today we are going to have alitas de pavo en salsa. So that is turkey wings in salsa, and not salsa like salsa and chips. We make this salsa just as people would make a roux of some sort to, make their gravies and stuff. So this salsa is a red tomato paste based salsa. So if you've ever had Cuban pig feet or Cuban oxtail, that is the type of salsa we are making these turkey wings in. Just giving you something a little bit different besides the regular brown gravy. So what you are going to need is some salt, some complete seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, some red pepper flakes if you choose, some bay leaves, some tomato paste, of course, some Daniels, a little bit of accent, and I also have bay leaves in powdered bay leaves. And I like the powdered bay leaves because it amplifies the flavor quickly versus having to wait for it to boil, the whole leaf to boil and actually extract that flavor. We also have some chicken bouillon, some extra virgin olive oil, and some white dry cooking wine. That is the most important part of this. You must have your cooking wine. And for your vegetables, we have a red pepper, yellow pepper, green pepper, onion, a shallot, and a whole lot of garlic. You must use plenty garlic. So when I say plenty, I have about 8 large garlic cloves that we are going to make our salsa with. You, of course, are going to need some turkey wings. The turkey wings have been washed and cleaned. I've also trimmed off the extra skin that's on the turkey wings. I'm going to show you how that looks in a moment when we get to that pot to get our first boil. As you can see, our water is boiling in the background, and we are going to pair that with some white rice. So before we start with our turkey wings, we're going to go ahead and put that in the water for our first boil, and let's get making some rice. Now, I was telling you that I trimmed the extra skin off of the turkey wing. If you come here and look, usually on, let me get a better piece. Okay, this one here. Usually there'll be like an extra flap of skin hanging off the side of the wing. I cut that off right here especially too. Now, what do you guys call this part of the turkey? This is the wing, or is this the flapper? Is this what? Let me know, drop that in the comments. So I cut that off, and I also did the same thing for all of the wings. I just trimmed that off. So what I am doing now is I am just putting this in for the first boil. I'm gonna boil out the impurities. There's nothing in here but just fresh water. And once this is, has that first boil, I'm gonna put it in the pressure cooker and try to get some broth from this, because that is going to be the liquid that I am going to start my salsa with. And it's going to be flavored, and I don't want any of that extra, frothy stuff on there. So we're gonna let this go until it comes to a nice boil, and I'll show you what to do next. So while we are waiting, we are going to start making us some rice so that we don't have to wait too much longer. For rice, I use a 1-to-1 ratio, meaning 1 cup of rice, 1 cup of water. Make sure you wash your rice. Wash your rice till your water comes clear. Let me turn this down because this looks like it's going to boil over. As you can see, you see all that froth on that turkey? I do not want that when I make my broth or when I put it in the pressure cooker. So this is why I am doing that first boil. Okay, so we have our washed jasmine rice, 1 cup of water to 1 cup of rice. So we have 2 cups of water because we have 2 cups of rice. And I am going to salt the water to your liking. And we are going to add some oil so it does not stick. You can use butter if you'd like. It's no problem. And you're going to give that just a little stir. Now, what you are wanting to do at this point is you want to bring the rice to a boil first. Once it comes to the boil, you're going to cover it up. I'm going to use some foil so that I can isolate the steam in here, and I am going to use the cover to the pot to hold that in. All right, so we're going to turn this up on high so we can get it to a nice roaring boil. We're gonna cover it up and we're gonna let it boil maybe for just a few minutes, 4 minutes max. And once that happens, you're gonna reduce the heat to low, cover it up, put the lid on it, and let it go for 12 minutes. Let's tend to this really quick. You see all that happening? What I am going to do is I am just going to start spooning this out because I do not want that, and you do not want that either. No, we're not done boiling. We're just assisting this with getting all of this out. Okay, the rice has been boiling now for a couple minutes. The water has been pretty much evaporated out. I am going to turn this on low and I am going to put a lid on it with the foil paper, like so. And I am going to let that steam for about 12 minutes. So we are on low. Our first boil is done for our turkey. So I'm just going to take this turkey out because I am going to finish it in the crock pot. Wait. So you're just going to put your turkey in here and we're going to get rid of this water. We're not going to use that. So we're going to create our own broth. We are going to cover it up with some water once we get it all in here and seasoned. Now the rice has been going for about 12 minutes now. I am going to turn the heat off and I am going to fork fluff the rice and I'm going to let it continue to steam without the foil. So as you can see, that rice is nice and pretty. Stove off. Foil paper off. And you're going to let that finish steaming just like that. Now let's head to these turkey wings. Okay, so here we have our turkey wings that's gone through the first boil already. I've put some fresh water in here and it's not completely covered, but as you can see, it's somewhat covered. Now I have my just a few celery stalks that I'm going to add to this. I had some onions in the freezer. I'm going to add to that just to season that base that we're going to create for our salsa. So that's onion, and I have some chopped up, rough chopped green pepper. Just put a few of that in there, like that. As much or as little as you choose. Now let's season. Let's go in with our onion powder. And you can season quite heavy because we want to get our turkey wings nice and flavorful. Garlic powder. Complete seasoning. I am going to add just a little bit of my bay leaves, my powdered bay leaves. I'm also going to put a whole bay leaf in here. Some black pepper. A little bit of chicken bouillon. Some Danos. This one is original. We are going to put a hit of accent. Accent is kind of salty, so I'm not going to use regular salt. A few red pepper flakes, about that much. No, a little bit more. About that much. And our bay leaf. They're all broken. I gotta open the top. That one's broken. All right. Bay leaf. And I am also going to put just a pinch of thyme. Now I am going to reuse all of these seasonings when we make our salsa. So you don't have to worry about imbalancing any flavors or anything. So that's about a pinch of thyme. Let's give this a quick little stir. And we are going to head to that crock pot. Let's get our crock pot started. We're gonna let this go for about 45 minutes to an hour, depending. You don't want it to be very, very tender to the point that it's falling off of the bone. You want it to kind of stay whole. So let's pressure cook. You plug it in, Yoke. Let's plug that in. All right. Let's pressure cook on high for 45 minutes. And we are going to, no, not in 4 hours. All right. And let that go. So while we're waiting on this, we're gonna start on our salsa, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. Ahora sí la cosa se va a poner buena. Now the stuff is going to get good. So we are going to make our salsa. So for your salsa, you are going to need una olla, obviously a pot, and some olive oil, aceite de oliva. And we are just going to cover the bottom so that we can cook our vegetables. Lama, tápalo bien abajo para que puedas cocinar los vegetales. All right, so here we have green pepper, red pepper, yellow pepper. We have an onion, we have a shallot, and we have a lot of garlic. So we're gonna sweat these down. Until we can veil. He sees his shadow, so he thinks it's another dog. We are going to sweat these down just a bit. We're not going to cook them all the way through so that we can start cooking our tomato paste. Now, it's very important that you cook your tomato paste. Now, this is not going to be a short, quick process. This process does take some time because you need to cook your tomato paste thoroughly so that it does not taste bitter. Now, as you can see, it's rough chopped. They're not chopped up really fine as I usually would do because it's really not necessary. But we're just going to sweat these out. And then we're going to go in with maybe 2.5 heaping tablespoons of tomato paste. Okay, so as you can see, they're starting to become translucent. So I am just going to make a little crater, and I am going to add my heaping tablespoon of tomato paste, like so. And I am going to cook this down. And as you start cooking this is like just like the roux process. When you add the flour, you just have to keep stirring it. So we are just going to keep stirring this tomato paste until it cooks down. Mix in your vegetables. And just keep stirring. Make sure everything is incorporated nicely. And by the time we get to the end of this, you're going to notice how it almost looks fluffy because of how you're going to gradually add in the liquid from our turkey wings that are in the pressure cooker. So we're going to let this fry up. Keep stirring, keep stirring, keep stirring. Don't stop. Don't stop. Okay, so we are going to season this while that is cooking. And I am going to add some more granos. I am going to add some complete seasoning. Some onion and garlic powder. So this is onion, garlic, some black pepper, a little bit of bouillon, and some salt. Ok, lo que le puse fue polvo, ajo en polvo, cebolla en polvo, sazón de anós, le puse bouillon de pollo, sazón completa, picante negra y le voy a poner un poquito de acento también. Y esto es picante seco. Veo, please, veo. And a little bit of accent that I didn't say. Y'all, he see his shadow and or his self. Ya. Deja eso. Okay. So now this is nicely seasoned, and we are just going to continue to incorporate. See how nice and dry it is? Dale. Big Papi, come. Nice and dry. And that is what you want. You want it to get dried out. Veo. So I'm going to use my wooden spoon so I can get what's sticking down to the bottom. And don't worry about that. That it's doing exactly what you want it to do. Become very dry and pasty. As you can see, it's very thick. It's become a very thick paste. This is, at this point, you know that you're doing something right. Ok, ahora sí lo ve, se ha puesto bien como una pasta, bien gruesa. Eso te va a decir que sí lo está haciendo bien. Sigue dándole vuelta, dándole vuelta, dándole vuelta. Keep stirring until you receive or until you accomplish this look. So, le va a dar vuelta, vuelta, vuelta hasta que se vea así. Y ya sabes que está haciendo bien y está cocinado bien. Okay, now we are going to go in with our cooking wine. El vino seco, vino blanco. We're just going to put a dash in here because we need to now. Like I said, this part is going to take quite a bit of some time because you need to add your liquid very, very slowly and make sure that it cooks out. All of the liquid is cooked out before you add some more liquid. Ok, cuando le van a poner el vino seco, hay que ponerlo poquito por poquito por poquito hasta que se seque de nuevo para que no se convierte como como un líquido bien rápido. So, esta parte sí se va a costar un poco de tiempo, pero te va a salir bien. Okay, so yes, this is going to take some time, but you will not regret just being patient. As I say, my motto, good food ain't fast and fast food ain't good. So we are going to continue to do this. With just a little bit at a time. And we're going to do the same with our broth. And if you come over here, we have our turkey wings and our broth already that's been pressure cooked for, that was like 35 minutes. I didn't let it go the whole 45 because I didn't want it to break up too much. So as you can see, my pieces are still whole, and that is what I wanted. All right, let's get back here. Let's keep stirring. Get everything off of the sides. And we're gonna put in our last dash of cooking wine. El último poquito hasta que le vamos a poner el líquido del pavo. Our paste is nice and fluffy. Our wine is cooked down. And we are just going to keep, I was going to say keep stirring, but we're not going to stir anymore because we're going to start adding our stock very slowly. And when I say slowly, I mean like this much water at a time, or this much liquid at a time. Now, we're not going to do this until we complete the whole process. This is just starting off that, that gravy. Okay. Tienes que poner el líquido adentro ahora, poquito por poquito. Esto no lo vas a tener que hacer la olla entera. Esto es la más empezando la salsa. Okay, you see how that's dried up? ¿Ves que está seco? Ahora que está seco, le vamos a echar un poquito más. Now that it's dried up, we're just going to add a little bit more. And you're just going to continue this process until it becomes nice and fluffy. You're going to see how this is going to grow. It's almost like we're putting air into it. And it's going to get a nice fluffy texture. All right, that liquid is out. And let's add some more. Give it a stir. And we're going to do this a couple more times until, I don't know if you can notice, can you see that it's growing? Ok, no sé si lo puede ver, pero nota cómo está creciendo un poco en la olla. Empezamos con un poquito y ahora como se está inflando con aire. Y así es como sabes que lo está haciendo bien. We did that about 4 more times, and as you can see, like I was telling you, it's nice and fluffy. So now I am going to just add my liquid back in so that we can make our salsa. Ok, eso lo hicimos como 4 veces más. Si lo ves, está bien thick. So ahora que ya está hecho, le vamos a echar el líquido para terminar la salsa. And this is the beginning to our salsa. Just keep stirring. Dale vuelta, sigue dándole vuelta. Baja la candela. Keep stirring it. Turn the fire down a little bit. Let's add a little bit more broth. Un poquito más. Now, depending on how much broth or how much salsa you want would determine how much broth you would continue to add to your pot. Ok, dependiendo en cuánto salsa quieres, va a depender en cuánto líquido le vas a seguir echando. So ya que la salsa está hecha, now that our salsa is done, you are going to taste. En este momento lo vas a probar. Estarte seguro que no se necesita sal ni nada. Taste it, make sure it doesn't need any adjustments before you add your turkey. And I'm going to add a little bit more broth. Just to stretch that just a little bit more. Okay. Now, ahora sí. I forgot my time. Me olvidé el tomillo. Tomillo or tomillo? Tomillo. I'm just going to add just a little bit of thyme into the pot. Just a pinch. Give this a quick little stir. And let's add our turkey wings. You're just going to add that back into your pot. You don't want to, I mean, if you add a little bit of the onions and stuff that's in here, that's fine. But don't put the celery in it. Oh, and my turkey is breaking up. I'm glad I stopped it when I did. Oh, it's breaking up completely. So let's just use the spoon. You don't need any more liquid. You just want your meat. Now you don't have to use the pressure cooker. You can actually just cook it on the stove. The process will take a little bit longer, but that's just fine. Ok. No necesita usar la olla de presión. Si no la quiero usar, lo que va a pasar es el proceso te va a costar un poquito más tiempo. Pero eso no me importa. Well, looks like that celery going in there too, which is not a problem. Okay. Let's give this a quick stir. And I'm just going to let the turkey sit for a little bit so that it can start absorbing some of these flavors. And we'll be ready to eat. So I mean, another 5 minutes and you will be ready to eat. And here we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Señoras y señores, aquí lo tenemos. Tenemos alitas de pavo en salsa. Ladies and gentlemen, we have turkey wings in salsa. Let's put some of this salsa on my plate with some of this beautiful salsa. Let me get that nice piece. I'm telling you, you don't want it to be overcooked, and I let it go too long. I know y'all ready to taste, because I am ready to taste. Turn it this way. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. It's smoking hot, and I know it's going to be oh so good. Let's get a bite. Some turkey. I know it seems very long, but believe me, you will definitely be glad that you took the time out to actually do it. This will make you dance salsa. That is good. As you can see, the turkey is perfectly cooked. It's falling off the bone, literally. The flavors are just bursting in your mouth. That tomato paste with the onions and bell peppers and the seasonings. Qué rico.
Who's Rico?
Rico is good. Qué rico que está. Si lo pruebas, si lo haces, si lo cocinas, por favor déjame saber. Esto salió, el quesito, el pavo está bien suavecito, la salsa tiene un sabor bien, bien grande, vamos a decir grande, pero está súper rico. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, try it. Now, this salsa, you can use it on anything. Like I was telling you, pig feet, if you want to do cubes, not cube steak, beef stew, if you want to do oxtail, if you, anything, any type of meat that you can think of, neck bones, try this salsa on it. Take it to another level, make it different. Give the flour a rest and try the tomato paste. So listen, yo gang, y'all already know I love y'all for life and I am ready to eat. So Cheers. Peace.